this is your second romantic movie together, but your characters are obviously in a very different place than they were in Shall We Dance. So I was wondering what it was like to kind of do this sort of story together again.
Well, it was, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No, after you, Gaston.
Well, it was a different story, so we felt
Actually, it's the
differently.
third one we've done. We've
Yeah.
discovered it's the third one. And
But
I think what's great about Susan, from my point of view, is that she can do anything. And she's still a human being, still that vulnerable human being comes through. And she loves playing, as most actors do, playing extreme characters, but there's still always that human being. And I can trust that reality is always there to play with. And that's great fun, because you know you always have a connection. It's not someone just off doing their own thing and being flamboyant and chewing the scenery, but there's still that vulnerable human being that you can play with. And from an actor's point of view, that's where the fun is. It's like you're with a living, breathing human being with all the flaws and all the problems and anything else, but it's still a living human being situation.
I feel the same way about Richard, but also I feel safe working with him, which makes me braver because I know that he's present and he listens.
That's a good point, because it's the same with me. Everyone here wanted everyone to be good,
Yeah.
their best selves, and to bring out the best in each other. You know, we were very nurturing with each other and taking care of each other.
As you mentioned, this is very different from the other films that you've done together. And I felt like this leaned more into the comedy side of things versus the romantic. So I was wondering how it felt to kind of play that side up a little bit.
Well, play is a very good word to say. I mean, it felt playful. It felt, again, you know, safe in a way.
Yeah, safe.
And that's
It
when
comes
you can
from
be
safe.
playful because I knew he had his thing down and I could therefore have my thing and that he would support me. And there was, you know, I mean, there wasn't a lot of improvisation, but there was some give to how things came down and how we expressed it and, you know, how we danced. And that was really, I mean, that's why you do it really, is because we all want connection, not so much to be seen by an audience, but the feeling, I do anyway, the collaboration of having a tribe of people that are putting this together and the connection that you have when you have a moment with somebody. For me, that's extraordinary. So if you can find other actors that are prepared, so they're not thrown if you do something a little bit different, that's when it's the most fun.
So you did speak a lot about kind of playing off of each other, and there's a lot of great duo scenes, trio scenes early on in the movie, but the back half is this kind of madcap comedy of errors sort of ensemble piece. So what were some of the highlights of filming that kind of chaotic energy?
Michael was good at that, actually. I think Michael, the writer-director, Michael Jacobs, was good at working with the four of us. And that could have taken forever doing those scenes with someone who wasn't right for it. And I've seen that before. If you get three characters, they don't know where to put the camera. And this was four characters, and everyone was learning something in the process of those scenes, especially the one where finally all the information comes out. And everyone finally knows everything, or almost everything. And that was, I think, great fun for all of us, is that we were all off balance at the same time. And it was light bulbs were going off all around the room as people were keying into the reality of our situation. That was great fun as an ensemble. That's what you kind of live for, is that. And the ability to play that, find the humor in it, find the crazy physical humor in that scene was great fun.
I couldn't wait to say, I am the company. I couldn't wait for that moment to happen. It delighted me, and his reaction was so much fun.
Well, I hope that this does entice him, because that whole beat was just so funny and such a beautiful delivery. So with Howard and Monica, they're kind of at extremes where Howard is kind of chasing that bloom of first love again, and Monica is possibly the most cynical person I've ever seen. when it comes to romance. And I was wondering if it was these extremes that kind of drew you to the part, or what it was that appealed to you.
I think she's authentic and she's realistic about a lot of things that she's learned in the deterioration of her relationship, which is pretty tragic. I mean, she is cynical, but I mean, when, there's a point where she says, and when did you first learn that this wasn't true? That love didn't conquer everything, and then explains her philosophy. And I think she was a believer at some point. I think she was a believer, and it slowly slipped away for myriads of reasons that are her fault and his fault and kids and whatever. But it's fun to be disruptive. It's really fun to be that character who says, "What are you saying?" When someone's kind of babbling on, it's like, so I knew I would have a good time. I thought I would have a good time if the cast was right, and I did.
So, Susan, I have to ask, you are going to be appearing in Blue Beetle very shortly, and I just wanted to know what you were excited for fans to see there.
My God, to be in a comic book and to be the bad guy, oh, that was great, and I had great outfits, and I wanted to be a little bit more androgynous, but that scared them, so I'm a little bit more gentle, but that was really a fun thing too. That young director on Hell was fabulous, and I mean, we're gushing a lot. It sounds phony, but really, that I love the enormity of it, and the kids were in it. All the actors, were people that because his whole family is Mexican, and they're all Mexican actors, and my henchman is Native American, so it was pretty unusual talent. It's the first superhero movie that stars a Latino, so that's pretty special, and he's great. The kid's great.
Bringing it back, I should say, to Maybe I Do. You mentioned that great moment of I am the company, but I was wondering, apart from that, like what was your favorite moment of this, of the movie? Your favorite scene, favorite conversation? Do you have one?
I mean, I like the scene where everything explodes, but I also like when I'm threatening him and he just takes a beat and says, "That's fair." Was that what you say? That's fair. That's fair. I mean, it's hard to deliver those lines in a way that really are funny. And that moment was, I thought, great. But of course, the explosion of all the information was a fun scene because we were all together. Richard, what was your fun scene?
I'm trying to think of I think I liked that the most. And then when everyone left, I liked the scene a lot that Bill and I played, where he wants to fight me and we're circling each other, and it's
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I calm him down and I give him a hug.
Don't
and
give
then
the whole movie away.
Come on. It's in the trailer.
Oh.
Anyhow,